Hello, beautiful souls. We got Ginger Bailey here, wonderful psychic medium. Information in the description box, and it will be on the screen as well. And we have my lovely son from the other side, Eric. Hi, Eric. I love you. Eric Medhus.
Aw. He says, "Hi, Mom. I love you."
That's
Yeah, he's
cool.
so sweet. Yeah.
Very sweet. He's been hiding a lot of stuff from people, like with Nicole.
Yes.
You'll probably
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
that when you guys have your session together, but
Yeah. Oh, she told me yesterday morning. Yeah. Yeah.
she'll probably
That's
share the
funny.
story live. I mean, not live, but on the session. Anyway,
Yeah.
y'all, I want to remind you of many things. Mama Elisa says, please donate to the documentary that Paula is creating. It's almost finished, but she just is a little short of funds to pay the illustrators and the editor, etc., the final editor, the master editor. So if you look down below in the description box, you'll find the link to click on channelingericdoc.com. Also, please subscribe and like. Well, you don't have to like because you have to wait and see this video before you know whether to like it or not. But you will. You will like
Right.
it
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you will
Just
watch it
like it.
and you will
Just
like it.
like it. Yeah.
That's what my mother said when I hate sweet potatoes. She said, you will eat it and you will like it. But I didn't like it.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, I already hit record. Okay. Okay, I'm going bananas here. All right.
Man.
So here's what we're going to talk about. It's a harsh subject, guys. So uh, hopefully it'll be okay with Ginger. This is about the Israeli children Ariel and Kfir Bibas and their mother, Shiri Bibas. Hamas says Shiri Bibas and her children were killed by Israeli airstrikes in Gaza more than a month into the Israeli Hamas war. Though after their remains were returned to Israel and examined by a forensic team last week, Israeli officers said the three had been killed by their captors. So let's find out. Is Shiri, Ariel, and Kfir here?
They're here. They're here.
How
Been here with me. Been here with me since yesterday. Actually, been kind of
are
talking back and forth. Yeah.
how are you guys
Um.
doing?
Good. Thank you. She said, "Good. Thank you." Um. So she's she's here with her. So this is so cute. So the little one, I mean the baby, she's holding. Okay. And is it? How do you say that? Kafir? How do you say
Kfir,
his name? Huh?
Kfir. So I'm saying
Yeah.
Kfir.
Yeah, so she's holding him, and then the other little boy, Ariel, I guess is how you say it. I'm not sure how you say it. Is got his arm around her leg, like
Oh,
standing next to her with his arm around her leg.
sweet.
Um, anyway, they're good. They're good. She's saying thank you for this. She's thanking you for this, Elisa.
Instead of a voice,
And yeah, and I'm getting like chills all over, like really strong, like head to toe. Her energy is very strong, very sweet.
that she's strong, sweet
Sweet.
energy. Yeah, I do.
Yes, very sweet, calm, kind energy. Very pure, like pure of heart,
Yeah, I believe that.
So, yeah, yeah.
So, how did you guys really die?
So something she's showing me is, yeah, she's showing me that once they were taken, they were moved around a lot. She says they were taken first to like people's houses, like they had certain people that were set up or chosen by Hamas. There were other groups though, is what she's showing me, like groups within Hamas, I guess. I don't know how this stuff works, but she's showing me different groups um, that set up boundaries and areas in some of the residents' houses in Gaza, in the Gaza Strip. And yeah, okay. And she says, so what they did was they would take them over there. They were staying with people, like they were staying in people's houses.
What were the
And
people like? Sorry to interrupt, but I might forget. What,
no, 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 that's okay.
what were they like, the people? Were they
They,
kind to you or rough with
they,
you?
No, they were just it was almost like they didn't stay together. They didn't keep them
Oh,
together.
I got it.
But it was their homes, right? So, and she shows these houses guarded, these places guarded, but they didn't have a choice. The place, so for instance, so the person where they would keep them, they didn't have a choice.
Oh,
Like they were just told, we're bringing these hostages. So it wasn't like, oh, bring them over to my house,
yeah,
kind of
right.
thing. So they were kept separate, but it was just using that as a hiding place.
Yeah, just shelter.
So, yeah, shelter, living among them, like they're living among the others. But it wasn't like your daily life, get up and do your breakfast and live like that. So, um, there are some things. So I just want to say this right off. There are some things that you can't unsee or unhear. So the things that I see, that some things that she has shown me, not going to repeat on here. I don't think it's fair for somebody to not be able to get rid of that. But they weren't very nice. Um,
Well, if you are easily triggered, you need to turn this YouTube off, basically.
right,
Assuming,
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, she's saying that they weren't very nice. They were very scary. They do that to overpower. Um, but it wasn't all day long. She wants to
oh,
make that
good.
clear. It wasn't all day long. It wasn't like they were just sitting there being tortured. Okay. She wants to make that clear.
Okay.
It was still scary though, because you don't know what's coming. So now she shows me, and I'm going to get to the answer to that question.
Yeah.
She's showing me the things that she did, the steps that they went through a little bit. So then she shows me that after a little while, they were moved. Okay. So this was over a few weeks. They were moved to like, what is this? This is like see, she's explained it to me. Okay, so this is like an industrial area, but they have like apartment buildings
Okay.
that people don't really live in daily there. They're used to bring people in and out.
Okay. Good.
Like during this situation.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So they're abandoned. They're okay, that's good. They're abandoned. Eric goes abandoned. But there's still like buildings, they have furniture in it, and they're like apartments.
Right.
So then they were moved there, but they were moved to so many different places, was to like keep people from being able to find them. I mean, there were a lot of others. She wants to let everyone know there were
Yeah.
other
Not
hostages
just you
with
guys,
them.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, they were kept in groups. They were kept in groups. Okay. Um, how she died,
Mm.
how they died. And this is what she's telling me, and this is what I get very clear, and Eric is backing it up. There was a bomb, there was a bombing, okay, that came from Israel, all
Okay.
right, and that was how they died. It
Oh,
hit the building that they were in, and it was one of those buildings that was the abandoned one, the abandoned buildings.
right.
Okay. Now, there were other people there helping them that was forced to help them, Palestinian women.
Okay.
Okay, that I'm seeing that were there to help them with the hostages, not because they wanted to, they were being forced to.
Right.
And some of them were killed too. They were killed during this. Um, So there wasn't a plan, to on the ones that were killed, that were actually killed not from bombings, because there were hostages that were killed,
Yeah.
like actually shot,
Right.
and killed. Those were people who they were making an example of, setting, like
Yeah.
trying to scare people.
To the other hostages.
Right,
Right. So
right,
they would execute
right.
somebody in front of maybe Shiri and her kids.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes, it was. And so, but that's not how she died, and that's not how her boys died, she said. And she's not saying this for anybody to be at fault. The fault is always going to lie on the whole situation, is how she's putting it.
Right.
On the war itself. If she wasn't taken, then maybe that wouldn't happen. If there wasn't war between the countries, then that wouldn't happen. And so she's just saying that she doesn't want to put it like, okay, so I wasn't killed by them, I was killed by them. She
Right.
says it's the blame falls on all.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, Paola, you can cut this out if you want, but were you and the boys tortured at all or raped?
No.
Oh,
No, not like physically, not like
okay.
physically, like they weren't tortured like that, but mentally,
Oh,
mentally and emotionally. Um, and she does show like pushed around, like pushed, like handled roughly.
right,
They were
right.
handled roughly. They were handled like cattle, like animals,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
treated badly. Treated badly. Like they were. There's no value to them. They were treated without it,
yeah.
like they have no value whatsoever. They're
Chattel,
just,
chattel,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah.
Livestock.
They
Oh my God.
just a part. They're just a part of the situation, like being used.
Okay. How long were you held hostage before you died? Before the bomb was.
He's showing me the month of around October, October, November, around in that area. She says it was only like a few weeks after they were
Oh,
taken.
oh,
Yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
good. You weren't
yeah.
tortured for, I mean, you weren't mentally tortured for,
For about 3 weeks,
okay.
something
Okay.
like that. A little over 3 weeks.
Now, some of these don't really apply now that we know the way you died. Did they hurt the children first, then you? I mean, did they rough them up maybe and then you or
No,
oh,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. But there were times where they would separate them from their children. And this was just to make like I'm in control. I'm in
yeah.
control,
Didn't
kind of
they hold
thing.
the babies and love on them or anything? Like, didn't they see these are little babies?
No, they don't look at. They are trained, she says, in the mind to not look at, especially the Islamic people, not to be looked at as human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and they really have. Erik is showing me how their mind has to be programmed in a way of shutting down in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just programmed. He says they're just programmed in a way of this is how it's done, this is what's done, and if it's not, it can be done to you or your family. So it's almost like this is how you have to be a part of this, and we protect you and we'll protect your family, kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
But their minds are so programmed that that is the Islamic people are or Jewish people, they're cancer is the
Well, I
word
remember when
that I'm hearing.
we interviewed Khomeini, he said that he viewed people as vermin, basically, like
Yeah.
lice.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. He's showing me, actually, Erik's showing me too. So, some of them go as bad as like I said, he was going like they're like cancer. They're just a spread, like a disease. They're just disease. But like bugs, like he's showing me like cockroaches, bugs. Yeah. Is how they get in their mind. Like that's all they are. They're worthless. They're not worth anything. So, I mean, to
Cockroaches
do
are the
what they
worst, I
do.
think. God. Well, okay, these don't apply. I'll read them anyway. Did they make you
Okay.
laugh because they murdered your babies? Do your murderers feel any remorse for your deaths? Now, I guess Erik might have to answer that.
So, what she's showing me is no, there's not remorse. Okay, there's not remorse. It's a job, and then the job is done the way it's
Training,
done. But
indoctrination. Yeah.
they weren't treated well. They weren't treated well. They were just pushed around like just garbage. Like, you know what I mean? They were, yeah, they were terrorized, like mentally terrorized, you know. And this was to make them know, and kind of like she's showing me like they would do things to where they would like make you think, like maybe hold, like they would hold up a gun and shoot
Oh,
it, but it's not going off, kind of
oh
thing.
God, yeah.
um
You never
they
know,
did,
that sort of thing. When
right,
she was going to drop
right,
kind of
that
situation.
right there, yes. And so, okay, so she's showing me too that they actually kept them in some of these buildings because they knew they were going to be targeted.
Oh,
So
oh.
that was actually an intention of theirs. So see, that's why I
Being
think
be
what she
bombed.
was saying, that yeah, that they knew it was going to be targeted. Well, they knew areas, I guess, of what was
Yeah.
going to be targeted. So it wasn't like there was a reason why they kept them in some of these areas.
Jesus.
Um,
So you were never in tunnels?
when they were moved,
Oh, moved to the
I see when they
oh.
were moved. Yeah, when they were moved. Yes,
What
when
did
they
they
were moved.
what did they feed you if they fed you?
Not much. Not much. I see some kind of grain and water,
Okay.
grain and water,
Okay.
but not much. They did not get fed hardly at all. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this one does not apply. What was the reason that they decided to kill you kids and your mom? Okay, no, they didn't kill. Are hostages kept in a dorm type facility or are they farmed out to the families in Gaza? Well, both. Interesting. Thank you for coming in to be questioned. Eric, can you now look after this mama and her babies? They will always be remembered and loved. So,
Yeah,
the person may be channeling that. They were kept with families in Gaza and then they
they
were
were.
dorm type facility in an industrial park. So that's pretty
They
cool.
were. They were. But it wasn't like what was the first part of that question? It wasn't like they were in like they have bunk beds and stuff like
Oh,
that.
no,
Where,
no.
yeah, it wasn't like that kind of thing. They were just empty apartment, like
Okay.
available. I don't know what you would call,
Yeah.
like abandoned. Thank you, Eric. Abandoned apartments. Um, because of the building not being it couldn't be active. So no water, no running water,
So
no bathroom. I mean,
what they do? Just relieve themselves in the floor, the corner?
yeah, yeah. There were like
Oh my God.
there wasn't like, it was just sleeping on the floor kind of stuff.
Electricity at
It
all?
Not when they were in the other buildings. That's the
Oh,
thing. That's why they would go over to those buildings too. Sometimes it's not to torture them, but because um, it was more space or more room to keep, because it had so many,
yeah, yeah.
right? But they were open to be used. Those buildings were
Okay.
shut down in a way, no electricity, no water, nothing. So it was like open for them to use.
So how many
Yeah,
lived in
yeah.
the same room with you guys or stayed in? I would almost not call it living.
They didn't want them in too big of groups because they don't want them to overwhelm like
Oh,
their
exactly.
captors.
Yeah, right, right.
She said, so she's saying like maybe 10,
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was your passing over peaceful? Did you feel any pain?
No, no pain. Um, she said that they could hear, I feel like it's nighttime, she's
Okay.
showing me.
Yeah, probably.
And she can hear like the sound of the bombs and things going off. And she heard she's showing me, and it's giving me chills, like this scary sound, whistly
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
sound
right.
getting closer and closer and closer. And it's just she says it's a constant, like not knowing. Right. And
Yeah.
so she says that the next thing she knew, then she was on the other side. Yeah,
Wow.
she was outside of her body.
Are you
Yeah.
together with your babies?
Yes, yes, yes,
How are they all
yes.
doing? Okay, are they playing? Are they happy? Are they?
Oh yes, they're doing good. They're doing good. And this was a contract. This
That was
was
the
a
next
reason.
question. Yeah, tell me
Yeah,
about that. You're just were part of your soul contract. All right.
it
What
was.
was that
It
all about?
was. It was the and oh, she's showing me a turnaround. almost like a turnaround, like another life. And the first thing that she shows me is a Nazi sign. Okay. And she's showing me her husband. All
Okay.
right.
Oh,
Um,
I see what you're saying.
yes. And she's showing me that he was part of this group during this, this time that, with the Jewish people and the Nazi murders, during that time.
Well, what
Okay.
was he? Was he a Nazi or was he
He was a Nazi and he was part of it. He was part of killing Jews at that time.
wow.
Okay.
So it's
Which is interesting to come back in as that side. Right. So here's what she shows me. They were family in that other life too.
okay.
They were a
Oh,
family.
wow.
Same. Yeah. Same. They were a family.
Nazi who's Jewish.
Huh?
Oh, so she was not Jewish?
No, no, no. This is another life.
Oh, no,
This is another life.
so in the Nazi life, the father was a Nazi, right?
Yes, they were German. They were German.
And she was married to
She was
him.
German. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yes.
she was not Jewish in that life.
No.
Okay,
No.
I got you.
No. Yeah. They were living like they were a family, okay? Including the children. She's showing me like it's almost like a complete turnaround of this.
Wow, interesting.
And so she's showing me that she was just the wife and they were the children. So it's not like she was involved in
Oh,
the
I got you.
killings,
Right.
but since they wanted to do the opposite. This is common, Erik says.
Yeah, the
Very
turnaround.
common
Yeah.
to do a turnaround
There, and then you'd
sometimes.
be killed. You'd be the rapist,
Yeah,
you get raped the next life. I understand.
right.
All right,
Yeah,
so was this contract for the collective or for you or for both?
both, both,
Okay.
both.
What's the lesson for
Um,
the collective?
okay. There's so much. There's so much. There's so many little things, but
Just name
she's
a
showing
couple.
me like compassion and empathy. There. Okay, so for the collective, all right. There's compassion. There's empathy that you get for all of us that see
Yeah.
this happen. Learning the importance of unity and pulling together. And then on an individual level, she's showing me learning to trust that there's a bigger purpose, a higher purpose for this. And the importance, huh?
Probably perseverance too.
Yes, yes. Perseverance, that determination, that trust in there's a higher purpose for this suffering. She also shows me, Elisa, that there were angelic forces around all of these hostages. And now I'm getting strong chills again. I wish you could see them in the camera. This is like down my whole body. Angelic forces that were protecting them in a way of the energy, helping them, comfort, because just because there are Erik, this is Erik saying this, just because there are angels around you doesn't always mean they're going to stop what's happening, because it's part of it's part of it. But they do help ease it, and she shows that a lot of times they were kind of like in a shock state in a way, you know what I mean, like just like numb to a point, she just was mostly very, very concerned about getting home safely.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen.
Well, she is home.
Protecting her babies, but I mean, like getting out of there without dying.
Didn't they have
she's talking about what is this? She's talking about forgiveness and seeking understanding. This will happen sometimes, to have people work on their forgiveness and understanding and seeking understanding. And it also can put people on a spiritual path too.
Wow. So were you taught to dislike Palestinians in your life?
No. She says no. Now, that doesn't mean everybody isn't. There were some, just like in any kind of racial situation, some are taught that and some aren't, you know. She says no, not her personally. She wasn't.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
They were supposed to give the body, was it her body back, but it was the wrong body.
Oh, that's what that is. So her parents are with her,
Oh,
and there's also another woman here. Okay.
okay.
Somebody this is a Palestinian woman that died in the bombing,
Oh,
where
that
she
was the wrong
was.
body. Oh,
Yes. And I was just like, okay, I knew there was a reason for that.
that's cool.
Her standing here, but I'm trying to find out. She's saying that they had a lot of people that died in
Yeah.
that bombing. And I mean, it wasn't like hundreds, but it was like in the
30.
teens.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
in the
Yeah.
teens that were in the side of the building. There were some that died later that were actually injured
Yeah.
from it, and then there were some that actually died in the bombing.
Yeah.
And she was one of the Palestinian women that were helping because they were forced
Oh,
to.
yeah.
They were
Oh, I
forced to.
see. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, and that was a mix-up,
Oh,
is
okay.
what I'm hearing.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. These last questions, and some of these are going to be for you, Eric. I still love you. Anyway, will there
I
ever
love
be
you
justice?
more because I love you more.
Will there ever be justice for the genocide in Palestine? Palestine?
So when it comes to justice, he's talking about there's two kinds. I mean, it's not about justice, first of all, but it is in a way when it's karmically returned to you.
Right.
Okay. So when you put things out in the world, and he said this so many times, but when you put something out, an action or a thought, or, you hurt somebody, or you put even positive out, anything you're putting out, that energetic extension extends out, it keeps going, ripples out, and comes back anywhere from 3 to 10 fold. Like it's going to be harsher
Sort of
when it
a
comes back.
justice in a way, then.
It is. And then also, he's showing me when they have their life reviews.
Yeah.
Again, you have to, and this isn't for punishment or judgment. You're your own kind of judge in a way.
Right.
But you do have to experience, what you've
Others.
caused to others, whether it's positive or negative. See if there's anything else he wanted to say about this. He's talking about this being necessary for the human experience.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Fortunately.
the this has been going on a long time. There's a lot of religious things that this was done for religion, to people being against the Jewish people, and the Judaism. Um,
Too bad.
there's religious reasons, economical reasons, historical reasons. He's just naming off all these.
It's
There's so many
so
reasons.
deep. And that
Yes, it
planet
does.
has such bad mojo. Probably a lot of negative entities and earthbound spirits and just a lot of bad.
There is. And when you have this kind of, when we come here to play a role, okay? You come here to play a role, you have to try to look at it like that when things like this happen, in a way. And it's not to detach yourself in a way, it's to give understanding, he says. So you come here to play a role, each person does, and it's for the human experience. If you didn't have the duality and the opposition, then we're not going to have an experience that we came here for. Yeah.
Will there ever be peace in that area in our lifetime? I will say no.
No,
Okay, so
no.
what if we, or not we, I don't want to even say that. What if the Khomeini, the I don't know what you call them, were destroyed and the people took over and it became Iran became a democracy? Would there be then peace in the area?
No, there's not going to be 100% peace, Eric says, because you're always going to have those who
Hate.
go out on their own and hate. Yes.
Yeah.
And, Hamas isn't about a lot of their agenda isn't what they portray always. It's not just about land, it's about power, it's about control,
Okay,
which a lot of times,
what about God forbid if Israel was blown off the map? Would there be peace then?
no.
Oh, horrible.
No, there wouldn't, because it's not just them. You know what I mean? It's not just about that. Yeah, there might be peace in that area of what they're fighting about at this moment,
Right.
like fighting against them and not liking them. But there's gonna be another thing that will come up. There'll be something else that happens. Yeah.
Okay, last question. From a spiritual perspective, what is the purpose of anti-Semitism, and what purpose is it meant to serve in this world's evolution?
He's talking about having these prejudice, not even just with the Jew hatred, okay? He's saying like any kind of prejudice, but especially this.
Yeah.
We were just talking about how it goes. He's showing me how it goes so far back, like I mean, way far back.
And back to the
Um,
Anunnaki days, probably. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. That's the area where they were, Mesopotamia, Egypt,
right, the Mesopotamia. Yeah, he's showing me how far back this goes, and it
Babylonia.
has just grown over time, and it's just continued to. Um, uh, there's been religious wars forever. Okay, this has turned into something that is beyond fixable, is what I'm hearing. This is beyond fixable, is what I'm hearing.
That's a shame.
Yeah, is
So
what Erik
maybe in
says.
100 million years we'll be all right. We'll be more evolved. Probably won't even have bodies to kill.
Right, and this is something. This is interesting. Okay, so he says this is something that it's hard to see it now, but when you have this much opposition and this much duality and this much hatred and fighting, he says this does lead to peace eventually. Eventually,
Yeah.
he says, because others see and learn and grow from this, and you get on this spiritual path. And he's saying that not always does that situation lead to peace, but right now the way the energy is on this planet, that it is going to lead to that direction because we're shifting.
Yeah.
And he's showing like people pulling together, people, yeah, helping each other, people learning. So for instance, when you see somebody hating somebody over there,
Yeah.
okay, in that area, or it could be anywhere, you could be anywhere in the world, but you see that going on there, it makes you want to turn to your neighbor and go, oh my gosh, you know what, let's just be friends.
Yeah.
And he's using that as an example because
Yeah.
it can build, build.
You know,
So and with the ascension, okay, it's just growing faster and faster that direction. Yes.
so seriously, does it have roots in the Anunnaki, the Enlil evil Anunnaki? This hatred?
It does. It does. And it's also embedded in our DNA. It's
Yeah.
embedded in us, he
Wow.
said. Yeah. To compare, to overthrow, those that you feel might
Yeah.
overthrow you. He's showing that back and forth. But this way of thinking, okay, this is a very young way of thinking, Erik says, a very
Unevolved.
uninvolved way of thinking is changing. It is changing. But there will always be some kind of conflict.
Yeah.
Okay, he says, because we need that for the human experience here. We just do. This is a heavy place. And he says, but no matter how high you get on that, evolving, he says there'll always be something that go back and
There's
forth
always
about, because that's just
something.
how you learn.
My
Yeah,
mother
yeah,
always would say,
that's
there's
just how you
always
learn.
something.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see if there's something else he was saying about that. He's just saying that there is spiritual reasons for both individual and the collective for all of this happening over there. And a lot of it is religion. A lot of it is religion. you know,
Oh, it's,
which
yeah,
is,
much of
which
it.
will,
Yeah.
there will always be some sort of religion or belief system in people in different, groups of people, but it will come a time, he's showing me, to where there's not going to be all one. He goes, some people think there might just be all one belief. He says there won't be all one. There'll
Okay.
always be, different ones. But there will come a time when it's a more shared belief system, like, well, that's fine. You want to, agree to disagree kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, Miss Bibas, do you have anything else? Any final messages, like a message to your husband, a message to the collective, whatever? It's your microphone now.
He wants to say how wonderful it was when she seen the pouring out of love for her and her family. When she got to, and now I'm head to toe again in chills, the pouring out of the love that she
Yeah.
has just continuously. And that is something in spirit you love to see and feel, when people, and not because they feel sorry for her, but because there's just love and compassion. And that's important. It's unfortunate that it has to come to this, she says, to have that, but it's necessary, is how she says it. But she is so thankful to everybody. She's doing this with her hands. She was so thankful to everybody, for all the prayers for her family and for her and her children and her loved ones and for her husband. She's saying something in their language, but she says that it means I love you,
Okay.
and I'll see you when I see you. But she's doing it like she's like saying, "This is my language," like she's
Oh,
saying it. So,
okay.
and I can't say it. So,
No,
but
gosh, it's
yeah, but he'll know.
hard.
She goes, he'll know what it was. He'll know.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
well, I
yeah. If
hope
he
he
was to
watches
see
it.
it,
Yeah, I hope he watches
yeah,
it.
yeah,
If
yeah.
we pour love to that region as a collective, would it help at all? The shower
Absolutely.
love.
Absolutely.
One of my
Absolutely.
favorite
And Eric says that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Get that high vibration and
want to
just
send love.
pour it
All
out there.
humor, send love.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, several times today, maybe if you can, we just do it together. Send all both sides. Okay, we're all humans. We all are worthwhile. And when I am in the skater field, I often chant, "I love all," and I picture things like Hitler and all that. But I love all. I love
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Everybody is worth love of people, and to take that away,
She
you're just part of the dark.
she's saying that it's important to do this, and it's important for people to really focus on those that hurt them,
Yeah,
mentally, physically,
yeah, sure.
to send that kind of love to them. People that hurt you, people that you're upset with,
Yeah.
strangers that may bump into you accidentally, but you think it's on purpose. She's just like going down the line here, naming these things off, and she says, "Send love, not hate, not anger." She says because it's not about what it's doing for them; it's about what it's doing for you. She
Right.
said.
It was really cool. We went camping in Galveston and this weekend, and this lady, this we went to a restaurant, and the lady had huge eyelashes, and she was just sharp and rude and just distant. And I said, looked at her and said, I love your eyelashes. Of course I didn't, but and she melted. And I said, how do you do it? And what brand do you use? All that. And she just got all, and she was so nice the rest of the time. Well, bye, sweetie. See ya. It's just a complete turnaround. People, I'm telling you, love is
Yeah,
powerful
yeah,
energy ever.
yeah,
Send
yeah,
it. We probably
yeah.
all don't send it enough. But anyway.
And something else, Eric is popping and saying here. He says sometimes when you think somebody is thinking something like like anger, like say you're in the grocery store and someone has a certain look on their face, it's not always about you. Like maybe they're having a bad day, so maybe they just need a smile or some help. Can I help you with something? He says if you always do it with kindness, if you reach out, no matter how you think somebody's thinking or feeling, it's going to, help. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Don't get upset because you did what you could, and that's what's important, is the effort
Right.
that you make,
And it's
not
free.
what the outcome is.
It's so it's free and
Yes.
free to send love. And I remember I was getting my nails done, probably the one time, twice in my life I ever got my nails done. And the lady was kind of not, she was not talking. She looked angry. And so I just started imagining, because she spoke only Vietnamese, imagining pink light and love just flowing into all her body, throughout all of her energy meridians, etc. And she softened and she started talking in her language.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah, you can't change people, but you can change the energy around them, Eric says. So it does make a difference to send out love to them and vision, that I always tell people, if they're having trouble with somebody or an enemy or something, just send that love from you, just envision the light from your heart chakra going. It doesn't have to be in green, because some people can't visualize color, but just visualize that love energy. It can be white light, however you can visualize it, but
right.
love encircling them.
Oh,
And or if you can't visualize things, then you just
yeah.
say the word love to them. I send love to them. I send love to them. You can do that too, and you'll be amazed at how people will change when the energy changes around.
The most powerful energy in the world, and it's very, so don't think, well, I'm not going to send them love, they were mean to me. Then you're just going to be part of the dark, people. What do you want to be, part of the dark or part of the light? And that's my closing message, except for love
Yeah.
you, Eric, love you, Ginger, I love you guys all. Have you
Love you.
subscribe
Love
and
you.
like, please? Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
She
you,
says
Bibbas.
thank you. She says thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And
It's an honor.
she's just they're okay. They want everyone to know she's like, we're okay. We're okay.
Of
So,
course you
and
are.
thank you
Oh,
to everybody. Yeah, she says thank you to everyone. Um, and Eric says, love you, mom. Love you, mom.
love you more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love you too. So,
Love you. See
yeah,
you
have a good
later.
day.
You too, sweetheart.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.